Today, the 2020 draft prospect we're going to look at is Quinton Byfield. And he is number 2 on a lot of lists. He's number 2 on Hockey Prospect, Central Scouting, Elite Prospects, and the average is number 2. So, Elite Prospects will give you the average. And they'll say, all right, all these put together is the average. Now, International Scouting Service has him at number 4. So there is definitely not a complete and total agreement about who goes after number 1. There's a complete and total agreement about Lafreniere at number 1. But Byfield at number 2 is quite possible. And I think with his size, that's the big thing. Why am I wearing Buffalo? Glad you asked. I think he's a perfect prospect for the Buffalo Sabres. I know Cousins is coming up, and I know Sabres fans are excited about Cousins, and he should be fine. But when you've got a center who's 6'4", 214 pounds, and his strongest asset is his skating, he's a center, shoots left, I think you take him. And I think you worry about who's going to play center and who's going to play the wing later. If the Buffalo Sabres picked up Byfield and they've already got Cousins coming in, you can look at the Buffalo Sabres getting into the playoffs next year with the right roster moves on the blue line and in net. This team could be very dangerous. Now, if they decide to get cute, if they decide, well, we don't really need Byfield and we're looking for this. This is where not drafting the best player available can be a problem. And so I'm hoping Buffalo picks him up if he's there when they pick, right? We don't know who's picking where yet, so I'm just throwing that out there. I think the best fit is Buffalo. But in saying that, their Sabres fans are going to say, we got Cousins, we don't need Byfield. Byfield has a higher ceiling than Cousins. So if you can have both, you're better off than just having one. So just look at it this way. If you had a choice to go back in time and pick the best player in a draft or whoever you picked instead, 9 times out of 10, you're going to say, I really wish they picked that other guy because he really was the best player available. Now, he's had a very good year for Sudbury. So he is the highest rated prospect out of the OHL. 2018-2019, he played 64 games, 29 goals, 32 assists, 61 points. His scoring picked up this year. 45 games played, 32 goals, 50 assists, 82 points. 82 points in 45 games is impressive. So if it wasn't for the 2.15 points per game that Lafreniere is putting up in the queue, Byfield would get more attention. But understandably, Lafreniere is seen as being potentially another Sidney Crosby, and Byfield's just seen as potentially being another Barkov. That's the comparison I'm using, based on the scouting reports I read today, and just over the last few months, what I've been reading up on him. His strengths, and there are a lot, and I had to cut that off at some point, but he's very strong. The one thing that both Lafreniere and Byfield are listed low at is shot blocking. Makes total sense. Speed is number 1. Teamwork, strength. Again, strength, teamwork, and speed. Those are the 3 top ones. Speed being the number 1. What GM doesn't want a center who can do all that? Shooting accuracy, puck handling, passing, agility, acceleration. All of these things are... He's one of these guys that has a second gear, that he gets the puck and then he winds it up. And as a fan of a team that he's against, you're like, oh, he's winding it up. Don't let him do that. And it's another reason why I'd like to see Buffalo pick him up. 2019, he was the CHL Rookie of the Year. 2020, World Junior Championship gold medal. But he only had the 1 assist in 7 games at the World Junior Championships. The good news is, with Byfield, if he's not scoring, he's still useful to you. So if he's one of these rookies that next year comes up, and if he doesn't produce, people are saying he's a bust, he's a bust, he's a bust. People who are paying attention will probably say, well, the scoring didn't show up his first year in the NHL, but the physical play, his speed, and his defensive play means he's going to have a nice long career in the National Hockey League. And I don't see any reason why he won't. Now, March 5th against the Barrie Colts, he had 3 assists. And January 25th against the Sioux Greyhounds, he had a hat trick. So recent games would indicate he's a pretty good player. It is rare to keep him off the board. If you keep him off the board, he may have got injured to keep him off the board, that kind of thing. Now, when I'm looking through scouting reports on him, there's some repetition about him being physically NHL ready. A lot of he's a physically imposing player. He's a big guy. He's hard to move off the puck. So very strong on the puck. And now I hate to make comparisons. I do. But reading this and reading up on him, the speed, the strength, his ability to protect the puck, his playing in down low, being willing to go to the dirty areas, going straight to the front of the net and trying to get those tough goals, It reminds me of Barkov and Eichel. More Barkov. So, Barkov is one of my favorite players. I understand that everybody thinks he's the most underrated, which is why he isn't, because we all agree on it. That's kind of how underrated works. The way that underrated should work is that I will say the most underrated player in the NHL is, and then people will go, "No, I don't think so." And that's kind of how that's supposed to work. When we all go, "Yep, he's very underrated," it means he's not. So, I've had that discussion before. He's also seen as a smart player. So, as a rookie coming into the league, that's important. Smart player. Tough to defend at full speed. So, he is, and I've said this already, those guys that when they get the puck and you're like, you got to check him off. Oh, he's going. Here we go. All right. That's going in. What I kept seeing too in the reports was he dominates the games he's in. Now, he's 6'4", 214 pounds playing junior hockey. So, physically dominating is kind of what he's going to do. But it's his ability to take over the game. It's smarts. His passing. I also saw tons of compliments on his passing. 3-assist game in there. He is willing to move the puck. And he can also take the shots, as evidenced by the hat trick against the Greyhounds. So, he's very hard to defend at full speed. Good luck defense. He got that second gear. Here he goes. His two-way play also indicates he can kill penalties. He does kill penalties for Sudbury. And, yeah, his two-way play is excellent. So, again, you may see him as a rookie being more defensive-oriented, but it's not going to hurt the team. So a GM isn't going to worry about burning the first year of a contract. And if he ended up going to a team like Buffalo, that could be fantastic. If, let's say, Cousins is more ready than Byfield. You have Cousins in there. And you have Byfield playing bottom six, it just works. Suddenly, center spot becomes your strongest part of your game. Now, the other team that I was thinking he could fit really, really well is the Kings. So, and really, honestly, probably almost anywhere. Now, if Ottawa pulled off the very unlikely but mathematically possible 1-2 punch, and if they used picks 1 and 2 to draft Lafreniere and Byfield, they could be back in the playoffs next year. Just given the tools that these guys have, if they do transition seamlessly to the NHL, given all the other pieces that are coming along for the Senators, they could do it. Now, there's going to have to be other moves made, but that would be intimidating and tough to deal with. And it would be tough for San Jose fans to deal with as well, knowing that the pick they traded became a guy who could very well be a franchise player. That's the ceiling, is a franchise player. He is seen as a guy who could turn things around, and we'll see whether or not that takes place. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Where do you think Byfield goes, both in terms of draft position? Does he go at 2 or does he go later? Does he seem like a guy who's going to end up dropping or not? And which team do you think he fits in best with? My vote's Buffalo. Let me know your votes in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. And I will talk to you again soon.